Are you all well rested on this pretty day? Those of you who are in Seattle, it's going to be gorgeous and perfect. Absolutely outside. They're saying a high of 75 and just partly cloudy through the day. Oh, I hope you get outside. I hope you have a very, very nice time. Let's see. I am thinking about doing some advanced techniques, and we'll start this on Monday. These will be our last 2 weeks of class because I think school ends right around, for Seattle Public Schools, the 18th. But we'll go through until the 11th, which is Thursday, which will mean that we've had 13 weeks of this daily cello coronavirus classes. If you want to reference back to any specific days that are particularly memorable, they're all available on YouTube, and they're all public. And I just sort of put that out as a public service. And so you can also, in years from now, you can look back on your little selves playing cello, and when you become awesome cellists, you'll say, I remember a few years back we were stuck in quarantine, and I was not as good as I am now. It'll be great. Let's see. So let's take C major scale and C major arpeggio to its nth degree. Make it really big and strong, and build up G major scale, really big, and make yourselves really comfortable in it. And then let's also finish up some soloing techniques and bass techniques in Georgia on My Mind. And then I recommend just getting out of the house if you can. I myself am going to be teaching all through the day, so I'll just be here, dun, da, 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 right in front of this marimba. All right, so let's first get tuned. Oh, there we go. And a D. And a G. And a C. Now anything's possible here, but I want you to be able to see your, if you're using gallery view, you can actually see your bow tracking and compare it to mine, making sure that your bow is playing straight across the whole string. Once again, if it looks from my perspective, because my eyes are here. From my perspective, it looks like my bow is pointing down. Okay? Looks like my bow is pointing sort of down towards the ground. But in actuality, you can see here, this is a very high-tech mirror. You can see here that the bow is actually pretty straight across the whole distance. Okay? And I think one of the most important things that we can do as cellists is be able to play long bows really, really well. Because you'll eventually be able to fit more and more and more notes into each long bow. Mine seems to have a little ripple right in here for whatever reason. I got to work on that. It's generally any kind of ripple or bounce in the bow is coming from some kind of tension. There we go. What I needed to do was just sort of drop my arm down onto the string. And make it smooth. Okay. So let's see. Yes, let's go on to the scale pattern, and I'm going to share a screen in just a moment. And then, let's go right over here. Uh-huh. 3 octaves of goodness is found on page 13, 14, 15. Here we go. And presto. All right. And then we switch this over here every single time. I just wanted to change to gallery view all the time. Here we go. Excellent. Great turnout, by the way. It's great to see you all. So here we go with G major scale. Remember up here, once we get up into 4th position, we're going to go into a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 position. This is a 2, this is a 3, and here we go. And then A. Now we have an open A. 2. Okay, here we go. Up. Yeah, good job. So let's try that just a little bit faster for a second time through, just to give everybody a shot at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody want to go faster still? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, there's no downside to trying and not being able to do it. There's absolutely no downside to trying. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Anybody want to go a little faster? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who wants to go faster still? Oh, here we go. All right, let's start into 8th note. So 1, 2, da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, I'll have to count it off a little bit better. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Faster still? Let's go for it. 1, 2, see, we'll go this fast. Ready? I'll give you 8 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you want to do state, like if you want to apply for state in the fall, it looks like, from what I understand, my college is going to be on a hybrid system where we are going to have classes in real, and also, I just got an announcement from my university where I teach. Actually, let me just come off of that just for a second. My university just announced that they are going to start 2 weeks early and end the quarter at Thanksgiving, and so so that there's not that extra bit of travel that might sponsor a larger coronavirus. And but the upshot of that is that we probably will have classes, which means that perhaps, cross your fingers, you'll be back in school as well in the fall in public schools and private schools. So that's the what I'm thinking is the word for colleges and for school, for your own school activities. We'll see what actually turns out. You know, it may change as things get crazy. But if you have school, you'll probably have state orchestra, and there'll be a time when you can play together with other people, and you'll want to be able to play really quickly. So let's try slurring 4 and 4, and then we'll speed up. What we'll do is we're gonna do that all with four notes per bow. Ready? This is gonna be a slur. 1, 2, 3, 4. No big deal if your bows get a little bit conked around or anything like that. I'm just counting strictly 4. It's going to run a little bit off from the scale. Let's try that one more time at the same speed. Ready, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down. Now, for state, you just have to go twice as fast. Okay? So, those of you who want to try, just for fun, play along with me. Da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee dee dee. Here we go. Ready? 2, 3 E and 4 E and. You think you can do it? It's something that might be kind of valuable to, yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah. If you can play it, but play that scale, and I think there's another minor scale that's involved, you can be ready to play, at in a high school state level, and at least in the state of Washington. And so that is pretty cool, huh? So you can see that there's like a certain level that you can hit. Specifically, I believe it's 88 beats to the 88 beats per minute, and then 16th notes. So right around in here. Oh, I just disqualified myself for state. All right, so now let's go over to the arpeggio.
Sorry, Mr. Hawk.
Try this with the thumb. Oh yeah, do I have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering because I find that I can go faster down, I can go faster while I'm going up the scale.
Yes.
But when I'm on my way back down, I find it quite difficult to go as fast.
Right. That sort of involves a lesson. There's a sort of there's a certain movement that it's all about teaching how to shift, and I recommend finding a good private teacher for that, for figuring out exactly, because it's kind of the opposite movement, and that kind of has to be trained. It is difficult to come down, I admit. It is different. That's a very good question, though. Let's see here. I'm going to expand this one and bring this over. Here is G, and we're going to use our thumbs. Are you ready? Here we go. Here's our open G. first finger B, fourth finger, thumb, and then thumb. Now we're going to slide up thumb, and then 2, thumb, and then 3, and then 2, and then thumb, then slide back thumb, and then 2, and then thumb, and then 4, and then. I think this has the highest per note rate, per capita per note rate of thumbs of any arpeggio I've ever seen. But let's definitely do this thing. Ready? So let's speed it up just a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Ready, 2, 3. G, B, D, G, B, D, G, B, D, G, D, B, G, G, B, D, G. 4. Okay. And I'll just call out the thumbs. Ready? So this is open, thumb, 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 thumb. Woo! That's tricky. And who wants to go a little faster? Anybody? Nobody wants to go faster. Okay, but I'll sort of demonstrate. I'd say the hardest shift is still between this thumb G and this fourth finger. Yeah, and let me show you kind of how that plays out in motion. So here is, everybody play this harmonic, thumb G, and then come down. And you want your whole arm to come down. Oh, dropping mallets all over the place here. There we go. Now watch my whole arm come down. Now what did you notice that didn't bend? Sometimes I see students do this. See that wrist bend? Notice what doesn't bend. See how that works? It's my elbow is doing the work over here. Okay. All right. You know what? I've sort of formulated the question about coming down the scale. The key on coming down is to think of shift the note that you're coming to as kind of like being a little hammer. So like when I come down 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, and so what I do is I put like a little bit of a fingered accent on that note, and that way I'm aiming for a specific note with that finger. That's a good, yeah. I think that's a quick way to think about it. If you need more help, contact me about that in a lesson or something like that. Good. So now let's take a look over at the Georgia on My Mind video. Or yeah, here we go. All right. And I'm going to share a screen. And there we go. All right. So we're taking a look over here at this music. All right. And see if I can make this any bigger. Can't really make it any bigger in the screen, so we're just gonna leave it. All right. So the very first thing about melody, and a lot of you have more than enough skill to play this particular song. It's called Georgia on My Mind, originally by Hoagie Carmichael, and the idea behind here is that the very first improvisations were based upon ornaments. Okay, so you might add something to the note. So for instance, here's the beginning. 3, 4. Okay. Now, a vocalist might take this and sort of just place the note in a specific place. Georgia, right? Georgia. Now you can also count vibrato as something of an ornament. So you can say like, I'm going to have vibrato on that long note. So we try that. And in order to get a vibrato on the A, I went to a third position A. So 4-2. Okay. Now the next part about improvisation is that you might say, well, I still want to have that melody. I still want it to be very obvious to the listener that I'm still playing it. So I might do something like this. I might add a note in between. And then I might go down here and do a note in between the other ones. Right? So that still sounds like Georgia on my mind. And then I think, well, if I've got this chromatic note, everybody try that. Or you can try it back here, 2-1-0 or 4-3-2. Okay. Now that we've introduced notes that aren't even in G major, okay, we have this this B flat note that got added in. Then we can start thinking about like, well, maybe we want a note that's not in the key in G major on the first one. So I might add an extra chromatic note, something like this. How about that? I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And then... So now I'm adding notes in between. And it's really quite easy to do. Anybody who's, working on sort of, like has had like a year of cello can add in each of these fingers. And then you can even like come back a little bit. Okay. Another thing you might do is ornament the long note. So I'm going to take away my little chromatic part. And then I might add some kind of note. I might add the octave below. And maybe an octave above. I'm using the same note, but then what I'm doing is I'm adding an octave and it sounds different. So it's a placement that you're putting in there. Or even adding in a D. Right? And so you have some kind of like little bits that you can add to a melody that isn't written. Okay, we're sort of like you're sort of making the music your own. Does anybody want to try one? Anybody want to raise up? Let's see here. Over here, yeah. Anybody want to try something off that melody? Georgia. Ooh, I see somebody playing. Hey, Lucy, you want to try? No, you don't want to try? Okay. One other thing you might do is you might say, hey, this needs to be an octave lower, right? We're going to take those same notes. It's a B and a D, and then a B and an A, and let's play them one octave lower. Try this. 3, 4. Okay, so we're finding the same notes. Go ahead and try that. And specifically, I did a third finger on the G string, which is a B, and then I went to an open D. So go ahead and try that. And that's a totally good way to think about improvisation too. You're taking it into a different range of the instrument and using your ears to get there. And those of you who are want to do a little bit more advanced idea, you might like to play a little high. So I'm playing a B. I'm putting my thumb on the harmonic. And I'm playing first finger, and it's a D. It's a B. And it's going to D. Okay? So we've taken away octaves, and we've added chromatic notes in our solo, in our improvisation. Okay? So I want you to sort of like find ways to sort of add in notes that you can imagine them to be. Okay? Another one, and this is more historical, say if you're interested in Baroque music, is to add a trill to long notes. Okay? So let's add a trill that is, trills happen, let me bring this back. Trills happen the next note higher in the key. So if we're going to trill a D, it's going to go up to an E. And then if we're going to trill an A, it's going to go up to a B. And that's because those are the notes that are in the key. Every once in a while you'll see a trill with a sharp in it or a trill with a flat in it. That means that you do a different note than the one that is in the key signature. But here is that idea. Let's try adding that trill in there. Okay, so this is B and then D and then add a trill up to E. Of course, I'll have to try a different position to get the D to E trill to work right. Okay, everybody try that. And then I'm going to do a B to A. I'm going between open A and B. And you can also do it here. Now, there's don't worry too much about getting trills to be really fast. Certainly a trill can be... Go ahead and try one out. This is, I'm going to do open to first finger. And I'm going to adjust the speed. Now let's go to the D. Now, if we were to add in all the things we've learned, then I might say like, okay, so let's first off, without changing octaves, I'm going to add in the chromatic passing tones. Right? And suddenly we have our own solo that is very cello-y, you know? Like it sounds very cello-y. And you can try it yourself. Yeah, and also the really cool thing about trills is that it really loosens up your fingers. You know, like makes them so that you can just do anything. Okay. Now, yesterday we worked a lot on bass lines, and so I'd like to take a look over here at what would constitute a good bass line here. Let's review the root 5, root 5, root 5, root 5, 1, root 7, 7, 3, 3, root, and by that I mean I am playing the bass note, which is a certain degree of the scale. So this C sharp is the 3rd degree of an A major chord. This D is the 7th degree of an E minor chord. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. That's 7 steps up. Okay, and so that is what we call an inversion. Okay, so let's try. I'm going to go to pizzicato on this one, and we're going to do. Let's just sort of review the chord progression through until the 4th line. because we kind of know all those notes. You can probably see from the screen share everything that's going on over there, and let's play it. Ready? Here we go. And G, D, G, D, B, F sharp, B, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, C natural, and then B, E, A, D, and again B, E, A, D. Now we're going to go root 5, and root 5, and then E, D, C sharp, C natural, and then B, E, A, and then A, D, G, and then you can add in that F. Okay, so that's the whole first part of Georgia on My Mind as far as this particular arrangement chord progression. Now there's one other part that you can do, is that you can make a scale, or you can, well, there are two parts. You can make a scale that is your own, but we'll deal with that maybe next week. But you can also play, and this involves a little bit of math, you can also play on the last beat before a chord change the half step from a half step either above or below the next chord. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go G, D, G, A sharp, B, F sharp, B, and then I'm going to play F natural, E, and then, so it's a little complicated, and so let me make it a little bit more simple. I'm just going to play G's. Okay, now I'm going to play A sharp to B, and then I'm going to play D sharp to E. Let's try that. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in the half step away from B and the half step away from E. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, A sharp, B, D sharp, E. Okay, and then you can, and I think we can get away with that, and it makes for a nice musical idea because we're playing by steps and sort of by half steps right in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring back the screen. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of saying, I'm going to play one half step away in the note before the chord that this chord's going to happen. 2, 3, A sharp, B. And you can also change octaves. Okay. So now you have a lot more tools at your disposal for creating a walking bass line with a jazz ensemble. Those of you who might say like, I'd kind of like to play bass. That would be pretty fun. You can also split the difference, or you can also play this kind of music on cello. So I'm going to head off to another lesson, and it's great seeing you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back on Monday for more awesome stuff. That'll be June 1st. Whoa, June. We're in June. Hey, have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.